What is going on YouTube, and welcome back to my channel, JoJo Speaks. Thank y'all so much for joining me for this being my review for Real Housewives of Atlanta season 16 episode 12. As you guys know, I'm just going to be talking about the things that kind of stood out to me. Won't be doing an entire episode review, but just the things that stuck out to me. So we see Shamia and Kelly. They're meeting up at Shamia's house. Apparently they've become, fast friends. And, I love to see Shamia with the girls. I really do. And I love to see Kelly with the girls as well. Once again, both of them are two of my favorite girls along with Angela this season. And so it's nice to see them together. Kelly wants to organize a trip for the girls to Grenada. Grenada is just dealt. Well, at least at the time of the filming or taping, Grenada has recently gone through a hurricane, and they want to help the people that are there financially and with supplies and things of that nature. And I think this is real cute. I think this is really, really cute. I love to see Shamia just being a girl's girl, and I love seeing Kelly being just a girl's girl, and I love that Kelly doesn't seem to be nearly as attached to Britt as she was at the beginning of this season. And it seems as though, at least at this point in the episode, or at least at this point in the season, that Shamia is outsourcing for friends now that it seems like her and Portia are not really on the best of terms, even though that seems to change later on in the episode. But anyways, I love the fact that the girls are going to Grenada, and I hope that it will make this season even spicier. So we also see Angela. Angela is talking to Charles, and she's apologizing for what happened between her mother and Charles. And I'm glad that Angela is taking accountability for this issue. I love when husbands and wives, can put aside their egos, put aside, what they feel about themselves, and when they're wrong, they're wrong, and they speak up for it, and I enjoy that. I appreciate that. Also, Portia is out house hunting. She's out house hunting, and she's talking about the fact that this divorce with Simon has been really draining, as well as Kelly saying to Shamia that her divorce has been draining as well. And it's really interesting to me how Portia is out here shopping for a new house when it's like, can she really afford this new house? But I guess maybe, but I'm assuming that she can. I'm just assuming that she can. But anyways, that, I guess that was cute for Portia to be doing. And of course, the realtor, or the real estate agent rather, was showing them the rooms, and the girls said, well, that could be a room for your wigs. And the realtor is like, well, maybe you guys, if you buy the house, y'all can get a wig for me. And I thought that was really cute to see. But anyways, Britt is preparing for a launch of sorts for her bare naked shapewear product that she wants all the girls to be coming to, and she's throwing it as somewhat of a country club of sorts. And it's like, okay, so what does the country club and golfing have to do with shapewear and bare naked? I'm not seeing the correlation between the two. But anyways, and so the girls start showing up to Britt's event. Shamia is one of the first people there. I have to say this about Shamia. Although I love Shamia as a cast member, I have to say that her style and her wardrobe has been so random and so, yes, it's label heavy. Of course, Shamia's got the money. She can afford anything that she wants to wear. And I can always appreciate that, and, you know, and applaud that. However, it doesn't seem like Shamia has her own sense of style. And I'd want to see Shamia have her own aesthetic, have her own sense of style, and not just wear random expensive things. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so Britt, Shamia, and one of the other girls, I believe it was Kelly. They start golfing in heels and short skirts, and it's like, okay, what's the point of this? Well, apparently the reason why they're doing it is because the event hasn't been set up yet. The event, they're still setting things up. They're still setting up tables. They're still getting the food ready. It doesn't look like much of an event whatsoever. But anyway, so all of the girls end up coming over. to support Brit in her endeavors or whatever. And apparently there's an issue. The event planner was late. And so because the event planner was late, there's a little bit of confusion as to who's able to sit, who's able to eat. And apparently not everyone who came to the event is supposed to be eating. Only the girls on the show are supposed to be eating. And that to me screams broke. To be truthfully honest, that's what it screams to me. It screams to me that you didn't have enough money to feed everyone that you'd invited to your event. But you want to just cover it up a little bit to say that, oh, no, it's not that I didn't offer food to anybody. It's just that I only wanted to offer food to the people who are important here. Yeah, I believe they're going to chew Brit up for that disaster of an event, and Portia even shades her a little bit, and I even though I really don't care for Portia, I enjoyed that shade towards Brit because I really don't care for Brit at all. But anyway, so Britt gives each and every one of the girls with a sample of her shapewear. Of course, she gives Angela an extra large. I don't know if that was necessarily shade or the fact that Angela's a very tall woman. She's not necessarily that thick per se, but she's a very tall woman. So I guess one could assume that she might need the larger size. But anyways, and so the girls are not too fond of her shapewear. They're not the most happy with their gifts or whatever. And so the first thing that Angela does, first of all, Angela brings Charles to the event with her. Why, I do not know, but I appreciate the fact that Charles is being a good sport this season. I appreciate the fact that he's the most visible husband on this show. And so if they didn't have Charles, then Shamia's husband's not filming. Portia ain't got no man. Drew's and in a divorce, but the man that we've seen the second most this season has been Ralph. So so there's that. Britt's husband is there, yes, but he's really not much of a factor in this season at all. And it is what it is. It is what it is. But Angela decides to tell everyone that there is no outside baby. Charles does not have that issue. And then Britt, for some reason, brings up the fact that Angela said that she was one of Charles's whores, and this is so petty to me. This is so disgusting to me. And thankfully Charles says, well, I don't sleep with whores. So Charles nipped that in the bud, real lickety split or whatever. And then we, see that Shamia wants to confront Drew about Drew calling Shamia a lapdog. And these are the moments when I don't care for Shamia because it seems like Shamia is trying to be something that she is not. Shamia is trying to, be a Phaedra Parks, a Kenya Moore, a Reading Rainbow, trying to come for the girls. And for me, it doesn't hit nearly as hard. It doesn't have the same effect to me because Shamia is just not that girl. Shamia is not the girl to come for the girls. And I wish Shamia would just stick to who she is. She is a beautiful, genuinely authentic, nice woman. And I want her to stick with that. I didn't even like when she came for Angela at Kelly's event in that store. So in that Balmain store. So, Shamia's, starts barking at the table since she's supposedly a lapdog. And I love that whenever Drew gets into conflict, she's always very calm. She's always very demure. She doesn't raise her voice. She doesn't, get out of line or anything like that. So I do enjoy that whenever I do see Drew, getting into some type of confrontation. I like the way that Drew spars with others. And it's just so cringy to me, for me rather, to see Shamia in that space of coming for someone else because for me it doesn't come off as authentic. It doesn't come off as that is who she is, and so yeah, there's that. But anyways, then Drew goes to a signing. She's going to sign her record deal so that her record company can release her album. And she first needs to clear some things up with Dennis because, Portia has alleged that Drew wanted to sleep with Dennis. And, the fact, and I think I said this in a review before, the fact that we have not seen that text message, because a lot of times when they're referring to or referencing any text messages, they'll put the actual text message itself on the screen so we can see it ourselves. But, this text message has, just stayed in the phone. And so I believe that the text message does not exist for that reason. it just doesn't make any sense to me. And if this is actually what Dennis wanted to say, he would have just come out and said it. So I believe that this was just a lie that Portia is trying to sell the girls, so that her storyline of being upset with Drew would be more plausible. But anyways, Dennis answers the phone, and tells Drew that it's nothing like that. I never tried to say anything like that. That's not the truth. I don't know why you're talking to me about that, because that ain't got nothing to do with me. Don't believe any of that BS. And it's so interesting to me that Dennis told Portia a couple of episodes ago that Drew is not even signed to his record label, or not signed to him in any way, shape, or form, and yet Drew is still in contact with Dennis about, her record deal and things of that nature. And so that's very interesting to me. It doesn't seem like Dennis is being completely honest with Portia as to the extent of his relationship with Drew. And me personally, I don't believe that Drew is doing anything that she should not be doing with Dennis, although Drew and Dennis are both single people, or, I won't say single because technically Drew is still married, but, they're neither one of them are currently in a relationship, at least not to my knowledge. I don't think that Dennis is with anyone. Um, so I don't understand why it would be an issue if they were to, get together, even though Portia's. Anyways, so we have the return of Phaedra Parks. As you all may or may not know, I do not see it for Phaedra. I've never seen it for Phaedra. She's always come off to me as extremely fake, extremely unauthentic, extremely someone who is trying to portray someone that they are not on camera, which I understand in this reality TV show game, you sort of kind of have to come with a character, and Phaedra has definitely come with that character, and it seems to have worked for her up to this point. I just don't see it for her at all. But anyway, so Portia goes over to see Phaedra. Of course, Phaedra could not come back without addressing the elephant in the room, being that lie that she told Portia, concerning Candy and a dungeon. And so, she doesn't take accountability for that necessarily. She just says, the last time I was here, we were under some unfortunate circumstances. So at least I'm assuming that that is the only time that that particular subject is going to be brought up. Now, if the girls really want to read Phaedra, they can bring up that issue with Phaedra and see what she has. I mean, I'm sure Phaedra will be able to volley with someone else, if they were if they were to bring that subject, excuse me, if they were to bring that subject up to her. But Phaedra seems to know a lot about the girls. Britt apparently is a girl around town, and that is not surprising to me whatsoever. Even though it may just be shade from Phaedra. I have a feeling that there might be some truth to that. Apparently, the girls didn't know that Charles Oakley was married, and so of course that's shade towards Angela. Of course they're shading Drew. Oh, I thought she liked the girls. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know she was messing around with Dennis. It's real cringy. And so as I was saying before, I honestly thought that with Phaedra coming back, it would push Shamia out of the way, but maybe that might not be the case. And that's something that I don't want to see. I don't want to see Shamia being ostracized by anyone on the show. And I don't think that that's going to happen, because Shamia, to be honest, is, one of the main girls on the cast that people want to see. So it seems like Phaedra is an equal opportunity shader. It seems like she got shade for everybody in the room. So it doesn't seem like Phaedra really wants to take sides at this point. But I hope what comes out of this is that Phaedra really sees Portia for who she really is, and I'm wondering if Phaedra's going to be the one to call Portia out on it. But we'll see what happens with it. Make sure you guys subscribe to my channel. Press that big red subscribe button. It is free and easy to do. Takes less than a second to mash that thing. So go ahead and mash it for a brother. Also, be sure to leave a thumbs up for this video. Let me know you're enjoying the content that I'm putting out on my channel. Also, be sure to to leave a comment. Let me know you're enjoying. Let me know your thoughts on this episode 12 of season 16 of Real Housewives of Atlanta. What are your thoughts on Phaedra coming back into the fold? How were your thoughts on Shamia seemingly becoming friendly with Kelly? Things of that nature. Who are your favorite housewives? Let me know. Also, be sure to press the notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video. Last but not least, share JoJo Speaks with all your family, friends, and loved ones. Let everybody know JoJo Speaks is out here in these YouTube streets. I am your host, JoJo Speaks from Faithful Warrior Ministries. Thank y'all so much for joining me for this review. I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out.